Hello, it's your boy Davidoff. So the draw for the Champions League last 16 has been made, and in this video I'm going to predict who's going to go through from each tie. But before that, there's Europa League as well, last 32 draw. I'm not going to do a video for that, so I'm just going to share my pick thoughts in this video. Arsenal, we got Olympiacos, which will be a tough tie. When we were in the Champions League a few years ago, we drew them in the group stages pretty much almost every year. We played them like 4 or 5 times maybe, and we had close games with them. At home, it was quite close. We beat them like 2-0, 2-1. Away in Greece, they beat us like 2 or 3 times. They drew once, and we only beat them once over there in like 4 or 5 attempts. So it's going to be a tough game for us for sure, especially the first leg in Greece. And it's tricky. They could knock us out easily. They were in the Champions League, obviously. They dropped down from the Champions League. So it'll be tough, but there's a big difference between December and February. Mid-December and late February. A lot can happen in 2 months. Hopefully by then we're on good form, because on current form we won't beat them, but 2 months is a big difference. We've got a window in the middle as well. Hopefully we can strengthen, hopefully we can have a coach by then, you know, actual staff, and hopefully by then we're ready for Olympiacos. As for United, they got Club Brugge, that's a good draw for them, and Wolves got Espanyol, which is pretty good as well, because Espanyol are struggling at the moment. Big difference between December and February still. Their form could change, but for now, that's a good draw for Wolves as well. They could go through to the last 16, which would be crazy for them. So yeah, that's my quick thoughts on Europa League. Not going to comment on the rest. Anyway, back to Champions League then. The first tie was Dortmund v PSG. This is quite interesting. I do think PSG will go through this time. PSG have been struggling a little bit in knockout stages in the past few years. Haven't really got past the last 16 very often. But I think this year will be different for them. I don't think they'll win the competition, but I think they'll get past the last 16 at least, and I could see them going to the semi-finals. Like, I could see PSG at least in the semi-finals this year. I think they could do well. I might be wrong though, I might be wrong, but I think they will be better this year. They'll be better equipped, more prepared, and I think they'll have a good chance of doing well this season, for sure. As for Dortmund, they got to win in the first leg. If PSG get a result in Germany, then I think they'll see out the tie. I think PSG will have too much for them, to be honest. Again, big difference between December and February. There could be injuries by then, but I do think PSG will be fine in this tie, and I think they'll go through. A more interesting one, Real Madrid v Man City. This is a good draw. This is a good damn draw, I gotta say. Real Madrid v Man City. Real Madrid are not too good at the moment. City are far behind Liverpool, obviously. They're not doing that well this season. They're not as good as they were the last 2 years. But they're still pretty strong. They can still win games. They've still got quality in their squad. Obviously, once again, like I said like 10 times, there's a big difference between December and February. Real Madrid could be great by then. They could be on great form by the time we get to that period. So could City though. They could win every game from now until February. You never know. But it's going to be an interesting tie. I think it'll be close. Neither team's going to like batter the other. It's not going to be like swept aside for either team. But I think it'll be a close tie, closely encountered. And it could be decided by away goals. It could potentially be decided by away goals. I think both teams have goals in them. I think both teams are guaranteed goals in this tie, in both legs. But I'm going to say that Man City edge it. Man City just by a goal or two, or on away goals, Man City go through. And I reckon they will get something at the Bernabeu. That's another one. I think they could get a draw at the Bernabeu, honestly. I think they'll be ready by then. Also, by that time, they might be out of the title race. I mean, they look out of it already, but like by February, if the gap is still this big, they'll start to realise that they might not be able to win the league. So then they can concentrate fully on the Champions League, concentrate a lot more on this competition, be more prepared for it. And there's obviously a little bit of winter break as well before the Champions League last 16. So I think City will be ready for that tie, for sure. Moving on to Atalanta v Valencia. Now, I said in my group stage predictions that Atalanta would go through. You didn't believe me, but it happened. They lost their first 3 games, yes. They drew their 4th. They still won their last 2, and they got through against all the odds. And this time they've drawn Valencia, who are a strong team. They did well to get through in a group of Ajax, and they knocked Ajax out, obviously. They did really well. But just like in the group stages, I'm going to say Atalanta are going through to the quarterfinals. It's their first time in the Champions League. They could go through to the quarterfinals. There's a good chance. For me, that's the best tie they could get. For me, that's the best tie they could get potentially, out of all the other options. So I think they got a real chance here, and they got to take this chance. And I'm going to say that Atalanta, against all odds again, are going through. Mark my words, they're going through. By the way, this is the first time the last 16 involves only the top 5 leagues: England, Spain, Italy, Germany, France. No one else, no other country is represented. It's a first time thing, if you didn't know. So that's a fun fact for you. Moving on to Atletico Madrid v Liverpool. A very interesting tie, obviously. Atletico are known to be very defensive, and they're quite good in knockout stages usually. If they can get a 1-0 or 2-0 win at home, they'll have a huge chance of pulling it off over 2 legs. Liverpool, I think, are stronger. Atletico are not the same as they were a year or 2 ago. They're not as strong now. They're missing a few players. I reckon there's a chance for Liverpool here to go and win it. Not easily. It'll be a close game for sure. Atletico don't concede much, and I don't think they'll concede much in this game, in this tie in general. But I think Liverpool will have it. I think they'll edge it. I think Liverpool will be fine over 2 legs. I think they'll get what they need. They'll get what they need. Atletico are good. Obviously, they're strong. They're good defensively, but I think Liverpool will have this one. Chelsea v Bayern. For me, Bayern are going through. I don't know. I'm not giving Chelsea a chance here. Can they do it? Yeah, sure. I gave them no chance in 2012 Champions League final and the semi-final. They overcame all the odds. So who says they can't do it again? But last time they had Lampard, Drogba. You know, they had much better players than they do now. They still got some good players, but I think beating Bayern this year, who've won all 6 games in the group stages, they beat Spurs 7-2. Bayern has smashed it this year in Champions League, and they got Lewandowski who's on form. Again, it's 2 months difference, but still, I don't see Chelsea doing over 2 legs. I just don't see it. But if they are going to do it, they have to win at home. If they win 1-0 at home, then, you know, things change. But at this point, I don't see it. Lyon Juve, for me, there's the most obvious one. Juve to go through. I don't see Lyon having a chance. If they go through, you can slap me if you want. But for me, Lyon are definitely out. For me, they're the team that's definitely straight away going out. Juventus guaranteed to win. Okay, no disrespect to Lyon. Okay, they're not a bad team. Juve have too much for them, in my opinion. Spurs v Leipzig. Leipzig are tough. Obviously, they'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting tie for sure. But I'm gonna say Spurs go through. I'm gonna say they edge it by a couple goals or so. I think over 2 legs it should be a good game because both teams play some decent football, and it could be a really good tie. It could be one of the best ties of the round. I hope Spurs go out, but I think they'll go through. I think they'll beat Leipzig, and if they're anything like they were last year, like against Ajax, etc., they'll have a chance of doing well again this year. Hopefully not win it though, but still I think they could have another good run potentially, depending on draws. But Leipzig is a good draw for them, I feel, based on finishing second, and I think they'll beat them. I think they'll beat Leipzig, but it could be a good game. On to Napoli-Barcelona. This will be tough, tougher than people might think. Napoli are a tough team to beat, especially in Italy. I think Napoli away will be tough for Barcelona, but I think Barca will have this. I think it won't be easy, but I'm going to say Napoli win the first leg, but Barca get an away goal. So it's going to be like 2-1 or 3-1, and Barca come back second leg at the Nou Camp. That's my prediction for that one. They'll lose the first leg, but they'll score an away goal. Second leg, they'll come back. So just to recap, PSG to go through, along with Man City, Atalanta, Liverpool, Bayern, Juve, Spurs, and Barca. This is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and see ya.